So this is a near miss analysis report we created a couple of days ago, and in today's video we're going to learn how to create exact same dashboard in just some few steps. So without wasting time, let's get right into it. So as you can see, this dashboard is very dynamic, and this is basically a descriptive analysis of a data set. All right, so we'll get into the data set very soon, but before we get into that, let's try to understand what this dashboard is all about. We are basically counting how many near misses, what is the average risk score, what is the average action closure date, what are the immediate causes, the underlying causes, the near miss types are reported by who. Okay, so all those who reported near misses, we identify all of them, the potential severity score, the shift when the near miss occurred, the action status, the workstation or the work area, the incident by job position and risk category. And what we have here is actually the timeline, and this timeline helps us to filter each month. Okay, so that's very interesting. Now I'll show you another interesting thing about timeline. Okay, but before that, let us observe the fact that every month that we select on, we're able to see the maximum value. So this is exactly what we're going to be doing. We're going to integrate a maximum value in the pivot table that we use so that it shows within the chart and it filters. I mean, it shows even when you filter or you clear filter or whatever. Now we can either select monthly or we could even select quarterly. So if we click on the time level, right, you can actually filter by quarter as well, where you can just look at a quarterly report. Okay, and as you can see, even when we change to quarterly report as well, we are also able to see the maximum and the minimum, right? Yeah, so you can always change the levels of the timeline to month, to day, to quarter and year and all of that. And then this thing you see here is actually a slicer. So slicer is equally used to filter the report and all of that. Now the interesting thing you should see is the fact that there's a year-on-year change that shows every time you select, the year in perspective, and the previous year is going to sort of show a percentage of the change and all of that. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing. But before that, let's see the data set. As I did mention, the data set is a very raw data. It's actually a raw data set. It doesn't make any sense. Management does not understand, and it is up to us as data professionals to be able to do some analysis and be able to present it in a meaningful way like this. Okay, so that is what this tutorial is all about. We're going to take a deep dive to learn how to create it. So there are a set of questions that we were seeking to answer, and these questions are, basically these ones, right? So we are trying to answer a few questions. These are descriptive analysis, and descriptive analysis is based on what? Okay, so what is the total near miss recorded and year-on-year change? What is the average risk score? The year-on-year change? What are the average days used to close actions? And the year-on-year change? What are the types of near misses recorded? How many near misses were recorded by work areas? Near misses reported by employees? Potential severity of near misses, the immediate causes of near misses, and the top underlying causes of near misses, the risk categories of near misses, the shift when the near miss occurred, the near misses that were recorded by job positions, and the action status of near misses. Okay, so that's pretty much what the project requirement is all about, and we have all the colors that we use for this project. So it's right in here. If you want to have access to this, you can always join our community and download it from our project downloads. All right, so before we get into our project, I just want to do a quick introduction of SHEQXEL to all those who are quite new to our channel, right? So SHEQXEL is a management system consultancy, firm that specializes in developing management system application and solutions, leveraging Microsoft Excel and Power BI. And also we have a data academy that we use to support professionals who want to build data skills, and then we have a data community where we share free knowledge and free resources and basically support community of data enthusiasts and everybody who wants some type of mentorship and even participate in our boot camps absolutely for free. And the fact that you can always connect with us and be part of a community that is focused on data. We perform data visualization service, and we also do EHS digital transformation service. So if you want to remove any paperwork from your management system and have an end-to-end solution that is spanning from some sort of data entry from all the way to data analytics using Power BI, we can help you in that. We also provide training, and we support organization in ISO certification readiness, right? So that includes developing management system for you, helping with the implementation, supporting and training your workforce, and helping you to prepare for certification audits. So that's what it is. Now the interesting thing we want to pay attention to is our data academy. Now we've recently come out with some changes, right? We've changed the 7-day period for the data class to 10 days just because we have expanded the scope of our the models, and also we've, previously as we've been training, we kept extending beyond 2 hours because we needed to exhaust all the topics, and for that reason we decided to rather extend the days instead of doing 3 hours, because 3 hours is way too long. So we keep it at 2 hours and then we can extend the day. So now it's a 10-day program, and we've actually broken all the models down into 10 days. So this is very, very good for all of us, because what it means is that we can be very flexible with the training days, and we can do Monday to Friday and then the following Monday to Friday as opposed to weekends, just in case those who are participating may be busy over the weekend and things like that. So that's what it is. Okay, so let's get back to our data set. All right, so this is a raw data set. We're coming to do analysis based on the questions. Now I have the questions already here. All right, so that's what it is. Now the first thing we're going to do is the fact that we need to load this into Power Query for data cleaning and to check if there are any errors. Okay, so we're going to hit Control A and then we're going to go to get data, right? So the data tab, we go to from table range. So what it's going to do is that it's going to convert this to an Excel table. As you can see, we click on OK and it's going to load to the query editor. All right, so there we have it. This is currently in the query editor, and the query editor is just like a data transformation tool, right? So we have the query over here, and we just want to name the query to call it source data, because we're going to be referencing the query in the calculations that we'll be creating. And the query is the same as table. So this is a table, and we'll be connecting to the table to be able to do calculations on all the columns that are relevant. All right, now the next thing we're going to do is I want to check the data type to make sure that there are no errors. So what we are going to use for that is basically the column profile. So we go to column quality and the profile and all of that. Let me hide this, and then the quality is there. So the quality sort of gives us a percentage of valid entries, errors, and empty and all of that, and we want to just make sure that every column is correct. So near-miss is 200 unique and distinct, so there's no issue. Date reported is supposed to be date without the time. We could just leave it as it is because it's the same thing. The near-miss description, there's no issue. Reported by, there's no issue. Department, also we have 5 distinct, 0 unique. 5 distinct, 0 unique for job position or job roles. Site locations, also 1 unique. And maintenance, the workstation or area is also 5 unique. So there's a lot of unique values in there, and that is also good for us. And what else? So the action close date, we just make sure that it's in the date format without the time. We do that quickly. Now there's something that I'll be doing that which we forgot to do in the other model or in other version. We are supposed to confirm the days because we're going to have an action closure days, average action closure days. Now the days that were used to close the action, they've been highlighted over here. I mean, it's already here. There's a dedicated column for it, but this value is wrong actually, because the days that the action or the date that the action was reported will then compare it to the date that the action was closed. Okay, so there's a date action was closed, action close date. Okay, and then we just have to make sure that we deduct the date reported from the action close date, and then just to compare to make sure that this is correct. All right, so we're going to do that right away. We go to add column, we go to add custom column. So with the add custom column, we will select the column that we want to do the subtraction, right? So action close date minus date reported. Okay, and then we're going to call this close days. We'll rename it later on. Okay, and then we hit OK. So this is currently in a wrong format. We want to change it to whole number. So we have it as 3. Let's bring it closer to this one. Okay, and we can see that it is not correct. Days to close action, this is 11, but in actual fact it's 3. This one is 13, but in actual fact it's 3, because when you do the subtraction, you're not supposed to be getting these values, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to remove this column and we're going to keep this one. So let me just Control C and then remove this one. I'm going to copy the header because I like the header. Let me remove it and then I'll replace it with this one. Okay, so now we have the correct date in there. It's a value, it's a number data type, and then all of these are also number data types. So now we are done. We're going to load this to the data model. Okay, so we click on load to, and then this dialog box is going to pop up and we're going to choose only create connection and add to data model. Okay, so what that is going to do is that it's not going to load into our Excel sheet because we already have a table for it, and there's no point creating another table, and that'll be confusing. Okay, so let's keep right there. So this is added to the data model in Power Pivot. Okay, now the next thing we're gonna do is that we're gonna head over to Power Pivot. Now, if you don't have Power Pivot on your computer, then quickly on your Microsoft Excel, workbook, quickly go to Options, go to File, go to Options. Right, so let me do that right again. Go to File, go to Options, and then go to Add-ins, and then scroll down here, select Com Add-ins, and then click on Go, and make sure you check Power Pivot for Excel. Okay, so mine is already checked, so it's showing at the top here, and I come to Manage. So the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to create our date table. Now, date table is important because if you checked, we're filtering by the timeline, and the timeline works with dates, and also we brought in a year slicer, so we're going to need the date. So the date can be generated automatically. So let's go to design and come over here and click on date. So click on new. It's going to automatically load our date calendar. So the date calendar will give you the date, the year, the month name, and any other relevant information. So there's month, there's year, month, year, and all of that. So that is what it is with regards to, basically the date. All right. So what we are going to do is that we know the data set is not up to 2026. Okay. So we don't need 2026 in our date calendar. So what we're going to do is that we're going to come here and update the range, because when we were applying the filter in the dashboard, you saw that there was no 2026. It was just 2024, 2025. Now, the reason why we are having 2026 in our calendar is because we are in 2026. So in as much as it is looking at the starting dates in our data model, in the source data or the fact table, it is also including the current day, which is today, in a sense, so that it's giving us 2026 as well. So we want to get back to what is supposed to be, which is December 2025, 31st December 2025, and we're going to focus on the range of date for our dates in our fact table. All right, so this has now been updated to from 2024 to 2025, and the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to go to the diagram view. So we come home, you go to diagram view. Okay. And then we establish the relationship. So this is our source data, which is the fact table. This is our date table, which is the dimension table. We're going to connect the date to the date reported, right? So date reported connected to the date from our calendar table. So you can see that this is a one-to-many relationship. So whenever we have an asterisk sign by this query or by this table, we term it as many, and when you have one here is one, and then the direction tells us it's one to many. So that's pretty much what it is. So we're going to save it and close it. Okay, so now we've been able to establish the relationship, just one fact calendar table, a dimension table, and that's it. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to insert our pivot tables to start calculation. So calculation, we are doing it on another sheet, so we already have the sheet here. So I'll just select the existing sheet. Now, when we are importing pivot table or inserting a pivot table, we need to make sure we are importing or inserting a pivot table from our data model, right? So we click on the data model and we go to existing worksheet. We already have our sheet that we are doing calculation on. So that's this sheet here. And then I'll probably select just a cell and then I'll hit enter. Okay. Yes, so that's it. As you can see, we have a pivot table in here, and we can name this sheet as calculation. Okay, so calculation. So we are going to answer all of these questions very, very fast. Okay, now we are trying to estimate what is the total near miss. Now we are going to use DAX measures. So we go to our Power Pivot and we come to manage measures. So manage measures, once we click on it, whenever we finish creating a measure, it keeps us within the same dialog box like this, and we keep creating additional measures, right? So the first measure we're going to create is total near miss recorded, right? So total near miss recorded is going to be counting rows. Why are we counting rows? Okay, let's go back to the data and the query editor again. Okay, then confirm something. There is no blank space or there's no blank row or column, right? So as you can see, there's no blank row in our data set. So every entry is sort of unique, and we have 200 distinct entry and 200 unique entries. So we just want to just count the number of rows in the table to signify the number of near misses that have been reported, because each of them is unique. Okay, so we just go to Power Pivot, we go to manage, and then we start to create our measures. So the first measure is total near miss. And the total near miss is simply count rows of the source data table, right? And then we check there's no issue, we hit OK. Now we are supposed to do let me try and make sure that it's showing, like the calculations should be showing. So let me just let it show like this, or let me probably delete some some columns so that we can see clearly. Okay, all right, so we're gonna answer all of this. So let me just bring in the first pivot table so that we can see what we've just done. Okay, so it's in this source data table, so that's what we have in there. Now what you're going to do is go back to manage measures, and then we continue. Now we want to do a year-on-year change, right? So the first thing we need to do is we need to do previous year's near miss. And previous year near misses, calculate the total near miss same period last year, right? Same period last year, and we refer to our date table. So it's our calendar table. We refer to the date, and that's it. Okay, and then we check. Yes, we need to close parentheses, and then there's no error. So this is also a whole number. This is supposed to be a whole number, and that's it. Okay, so this is for the previous year. And if you want to do a year-on-year change, then we're gonna do like we're going to use a divide function. So year-on-year change, right? For near miss, year-on-year change, near miss. And we're going to use a divide function. Divide the first measure, which is the total near miss minus the previous near miss divided by the previous near miss. Okay, and this one is going to give us a percentage. So we check and we select percentage, no decimal. Okay, that's it. So we do the same thing for average risk score. So average risk score, I mean, it's just going to be an average because the values are sort of these are risk levels. It's either 1 to 5 across the various near misses, because they're estimating what is the risk level and all of that. So we need to strike an average to know what is the average risk score. So risk score is average of the source data, and we are focusing on risk score. Okay, and that's it. So this one is decimal. Okay, decimal, we can remove the decimal place, or we can leave it at 1 decimal place, only 1. Okay, and then we're gonna do previous year's average risk score. And with this one also, we're gonna calculate average risk score, and then same period last year, and then the calendar date, we select the date column. Okay, and then that's it. This one is in percentage. Okay, with no decimal. So that's it. And then we move on to the other one, which is average days used to close actions. So average days to close actions, and that's simply average of the source data days close action, right? So we choose days to close action. So this one is a decimal with 1 decimal place. Okay, and then we check the previous year PY average days to close action, right? And this one is calculate the average days to close action, same period last year, dates, okay, and that's it. And this one is percentage. We will remove any decimal place, and that's it. So I think we are done with these ones. Okay, so let's quickly check and populate them in our pivot table. So we're gonna separate them. So this is for the near miss and this near miss change, and then we would paste it over here also. Control C and paste it here. And then we're gonna remove this one and focus on this one. Average risk score, and then I didn't do year on year for risk score, right? Year on year for near miss. Yeah, I didn't do year on year yet, so let's go back and do the year on year. Okay, power pivots, manage. Okay, previous years risk score. So year on year for risk score. So calculate average previous year. Now this one average risk score. This one is not supposed to be percentage. It's just supposed to be decimal. Average risk score is supposed to be decimal, and then average also is supposed to be decimal. Why did I go and make it okay? And then we do the year on year for all of them. Okay, the rest. So year on year percentage risk score, and that is the divide. We use a divide, and then that is the average risk score minus previous risk score divided by the previous risk score. Okay, and this one will be percentage. And then we do the year on year YOY change for closure days to close, average days to close. And that's also divide average days to close minus previous days to close divided by previous days to close, previous year's days to close. Okay. Yes, so this one is percentage. Okay, all right, so there we have it. So we bring in the year on year for risk score, and that is this one, and then we would Control C and paste here, and then we would do the other one as well. So that's average days to close, previous year's days to close, and this one. Yeah, so there you have it. Okay, so 200 DMS is the total, but once we bring in the year slicer, okay, so once we insert a slicer, we're gonna see it properly. So let's bring in the slicer for the year. So we go into our our slicer, we report connection to all the pivot tables that we just created, and now let's apply the filter. You see, when we apply filter, this is the last year's, this is the 2024 value, and once we select 2025, then we are getting everything in the right context. You can see the last year was 90, I mean the previous year was 110, and the last 2025 was 90. It's giving us all these changes. So that's it. We're gonna move on again to the rest. So the rest is very straightforward. We are counting, we are done with this and this also, right? So we're done with these ones. Instead of it, what are the types of incident recorded? The types of near misses recorded. So these are very straightforward. We just insert our pivot table, so we can, use any of this. Let's paste it here. Let's open the field list. Okay, and then let's remove these ones, and then we check the total near misses. Okay, now we bring in, the types of near misses. They are somewhere here. Near miss type. There we have it. Okay, and then we get on with the rest. So that's like this one is done. How many near miss were recorded by work area? So this is near miss by work area. So we open this, uncheck near miss type, select by work area, and then we continue. Control C, Control V, and then that's near miss by employees. So we quickly remove this one and select reported by. Okay, so these are employees. Okay, let's continue. Control C, we paste it somewhere here to make room for the rest, and that's like a potential severity of near miss. So we open the pivot field list, we uncheck near miss type, we select the same near miss by severity, right? So severity is right here, potential severity, and then we move on to the rest. So we are done with this one. We're done with these ones, and we go to immediate causes. So immediate and underlining cause. So the first is immediate, the other one is underlining, and then we quickly uncheck this one. We start immediate cause, we uncheck this one, continue with underlining cause. Okay, then we are done with these ones. Instead of its risk category. Okay, so we can do the risk category. Control C, Control V. Underlining cause to risk category. Okay, there we have it here. And then shift, so the working shift. Okay. Okay, let's continue here. Okay, and the other one is recorded by job rules and action status. Job rules and action status. Okay. Job rules and action status. So we want to check this one, and we go to job rules. Okay, and action status. Action status. Okay, so we have a lot of tables here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You have 9. Okay, so 9 questions, right? And that is, let's have a look at our dashboard and see. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 3 here, 4 here. So immediate cause, underlying cause, near miss type, reported by these employees, and then potential severity, shift action status, work area, by job rules, risk categories. So let's go back and check total near miss by So what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert all of them to correct proper table layout. So that's show in tabular form, so that we can see the labels properly. Okay, so reported by, but this one there's a problem with it. I don't know why it's repeating. So let me just go into the data model and check what's going on. So there are 49 distinct. Why is it getting 49 distinct? That's a lot. So let me just trim. Let me remove any, any space in front or whatever. Trim. Transform, format, trim, and clean. Okay, yes. So I remember what we did. We said we want the top, right? So we selected top 10. We selected top 10, those who reported. So we want to select the top 10. So we filter by the top 10. So we go to filter values and say top 10. Okay, so that sort of reduces it for us. So this is the top employees, top 10 employees. Okay, let's make it top 10 employees. That's better. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 9. It's supposed to be 10. Oh, okay, it's 10. 3 here, 4 here. That's it. So we're on track. Okay. All right. So what we are going to do next is that we're going to introduce our maximum and minimum. Okay. Our maximum and minimum. And that is an important measure. So let's now introduce that measure. So let's go into our Power Pivots and go to manage measures. And now we're going to do highlights. Highlight for near miss incident type. So this is maximum of near miss type. Now what we are going to do is that we're going to introduce the maximum value using a DAX measure. So first we're going to use the summarize. Now there's a reason why we are using the summarize. Summarize, when we now say that we want the maximum of near miss, we cannot. So that would be like max of, assuming we are saying max of total near miss. Now total near miss actually is very difficult to find max. Usually when you are doing max, you say max of a particular, let's say a particular measure, which is, and then you're applying it on a max of, let's say, source data, and then we want to look at near miss type, right? Usually it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You cannot do it because the column for total near miss is not like based on values. This is count rows. So it's easy to find the max of a value. I mean, a row. I mean, you cannot count the max when you are counting all rows. It's not a column with value, so you cannot do that. So what we are supposed to be doing instead is that we need to create a summary of the table. So we use a summarize function. Summarize function, and we want to summarize this table focusing on a particular column, which is the near miss type column. Okay, and then we want to now say we are introduced now in Power Pivots or Excel. You're not able to see this table that I'm creating, but in Power BI you can actually see it because there's a table view where you can sort of visualize tables that you're creating. So this summarize is actually a table function. We use it to create table. So we are creating a table. Measures only can estimate scalar values, like one value which you can apply, but you cannot create table. So this one that we are doing, we cannot visualize it, but we need to continue. So we are creating a summary of the table with the near miss data type, near miss types. Okay, and then we're going to create another column which we call max of near miss. Okay, and then this column we're going to count rows. We're going to count rows of the source data. Okay, so this is the first measure for summarize. This does not give a scalar value. It doesn't give a single value. So what do? We need to continue, and this time we are going to use the max x. So the max x is counting the maximum value within the new column that we've created, which is a max of near miss. So our new column is called max of near miss. Max of near miss. Okay, now this will give us some answer. Let's check what it gives us, but we are not done. So let's come and check what it will give us. So let's bring in the max of near miss, the max of near miss. So the max of near miss is not giving us the near miss, the maximum value yet. The maximum of near miss type is not giving us the maximum value yet. So we need to continue. So we go back to our measures, and then we would, continue. And we say that we use a calculate everything that is there, and we remove the filter because now it's filtering. We need to remove the filter context. So all selected, source data, you close it and we check. Okay, and that's gonna give us the maximum. You're gonna see it very shortly. So it's giving us the maximum. As you can see now, this is the maximum, but this one is not a highlighted, because if you're bringing it into the charts, all of these are going to show as a bar chart or whatever, as a bar, and it's not going to look nice. So we're going to introduce a way of flagging if it is not equal to. So what we're going to do is we're going to do, if this is equal to this, give me that. If not, give me blank. So we go back to our manage measure. We go to, max again. And now instead of, basically leaving like this, we're going to use a VAR. VAR, we give it a unique name. So we're going to call it max near miss is equal to this, and return. We use a return to close that argument for VAR. So now the name is of this whole measure is called max near miss, or near miss type. Okay, I'll repeat this same thing again. So max near miss type, and now you see if max near miss type, this one is equal to total near miss, return max near miss. If not, return blank. Okay, we check, no issue. Now it's gonna give us a blank. Okay, so let's wait and see. Now there we have it. So now you can see that it has given us a maximum, and all of these are blank. So that's pretty much what it is. I'm going to repeat exact same thing for this. Okay, so we are saying that in order to create the maximum value, we cannot just use a max. Max, if you're using max, you're referring to a column with a value, and that value is a number, and for that reason it's going to find the max of the number in the column. But this time around, count of incidents is not based on numbers within a column. It's actually based on the fact that we counted the entire table, the rows in the table. So you cannot find the maximum of counting rows in a table and apply it on, work locations or work areas. It wouldn't work. So we need to rather use a summarize the table. Okay, first we summarize the table, which is the source data. All right. And then when we are using a summarize, we probably want to visualize it and see what we are doing. But unfortunately, DAX measures do not provide table. It provides scalar value, which is just a single value, an answer, which is a value. So this one we cannot visualize. But when we are in Power BI, we can be able to go to the table view. Then we can see what we are doing. So summarize the table, which is the source data, and we are summarizing by what? We are summarizing by the column. What is the column? The column is the name of the measure. Let me put the name of the measure there. That's max of work area. Okay, so then the column that we're going to focus on is, source data. All right, source data, but we are focusing on area. That's the workstation or the work area. Okay, and then we are saying that create a new column, which we call max work area. And what kind of values do you want in that column? We want count rows of the source data. So what it means is that we are summarizing that table, the whole table. We are summarizing it to like this, just what you see here, that we are creating a summary of the table, and we want by the work area, and we want to count rows. So there is a count rows that we use to apply to. Remember, the count rows is a count of incident. That's what we use to apply. So that's what we are doing. We are summarizing the table once again. Okay, and then we will then apply the max function, the max that we are trying to apply. We're going to apply it again, and we are using the max x. We are saying that we want the new column that we've created, which is max of work area, this one. Okay, and then we would close the parentheses. Now when we do that, it gives us the max, all right, which is perfect, but it does not highlight the maximum. So what we are going to do is that we're going to use the calculate, and then we are saying that all selected. So we are trying to remove the filter context, the filter that we've already put here. We are removing it with all selected, and that's it. Okay, so now we are not done. Once we apply, it's going to give us the maximum all across, the pivot table, which we don't want. So we're going to use a VAR. Okay, or let me just show it once again. Once we apply and we close, okay, and then we open the source data and we select the max of work area. You see it giving us the max all across, which we don't want. We want something that looks like this. So we go back again, and then we go to manage measure, and then we go to max of work area, and then we use a VAR. So VAR variable is used to give the measure a name, and then we can use it again in another argument. So we can just call it max work. It shouldn't be the same name in the measure, so we need to give it something different. Max of work area, okay, is equal to this, and then we would close this with a return. Return is how we finalize that we have given it a name, and then we come here and say if, okay, max of work area, which is this one, the new name that we give it, is equal to total nearness return max of work area. If not, give me a blank. Okay, and we check, and that's right there. Okay, so just hit OK and let's see where it goes. So basically in the subsequent ones, I'm not going to waste my time. I'm just going to copy and move very fast. So let's go to manage measure. Okay, and then let's select any of them. So let's copy everything, Control C, Control V, and then we come here, we're applying it on reported by. So simply max of reported by, and then we would paste it in there, but quickly we'll change it, right? Max of reported. These names that I'm typing is just up to you, whatever that makes you comfortable. So this max reported, I'll just copy it and replace it on Control C and replace it with this one. Replace this one as well. Okay, and that's for this, and then we change the what we grouped. So it's not incident type anymore. It is reported by. So that's reported by. That's what we're going to select, and then we can call the new column max of reported. Max of reported, just max of reported. That's okay. And then the new column now can be referenced as max of reported, and there we have it. Okay, and we check. Perfect, no issues. So we click on OK, and then we continue. So the next one, which one is the next one? Okay, let me just close this, and then you update this one first, and then we continue. So this one is max of reported by, and it tells us we have 5. And then we come here. So these ones, I wish I can move very fast. The highlight, this highlights, we don't need it. So basically the highlights, so the, what is it? Let's go to design and make it tabular. Okay, you can see clearly. If it's tabular, you can see potential severity is actually a pie chart. This one is a pie chart. This one is one of them is a donut chart and all of that. So I'll just focus on these ones, which means we are almost done. Okay, so there's like, what label is it? Let me check. Report in tabular form. Report this one also in tabular form. Report this in tabular form, so we can see. Okay, so this immediate cause, this one is underlining cause. So let's quickly go to our power pivots and manage measure, and then we pick any of them. So marks of work area, so control C, we copy it, and then we come here and paste everything there. And then this one is marks of underlining causes, and then we can just give it a very short name, marks of underlining. Okay, marks of underlining. And then this name that we've introduced, we're going to replace it on these ones because this is the final if argument that we used. So just carefully replace it. And then this one also, we carefully replace it. Okay. Okay, so that's what it is, marks of underlining cause, right? And then over here, we are summarizing the source data. We are summarizing the underlining causes, right? And then also the new column that we introduce is marks of, or we can call it underlining causes. And this underlining causes is what we counted the marks on. So that's this one, marks of, that's like underlining cause, right? This one, yes. And that is it, guys. So when we check, everything is correct, and then the VAR, everything is in there. So let me just control C, hit OK, and then we go to the marks of immediate cause. Immediate causes. So we can, instead of underline, marks of underline, we call it immediate. And then we'll just carefully select this one, Control C, and then paste it here, Control V, and then over here as well, Control V. Okay, and then we are grouping immediate cause, not underlining cause. So we do that quickly. Immediate cause. And then the new column header we introduce is immediate cause, right? Immediate causes. And then the marks was based on the immediate cause, which is this one. Immediate causes. Yes, immediate causes. And we check. Okay, so we're having an issue. I think this name is not showing down. Control C, and is it that the name has repeated or something? So I just want to be careful we don't repeat the name. The expression return marks of immediate causes. Let me just differentiate it. Maybe it has repeated. Marks of immediate cause. Marks of immediate cause. What's going on? Let's start from scratch. I thought I could move fast. So summarize the table, which is the source data, and then we would focus on the immediate causes column, which is this one, and then we will create a new column which we call immediate. Let's just call it immediate. Okay, and then we want to count rows of the source data. So this one gives us it gives us a table, and that is a similar table that we have, the similar table that we see in there. Okay, but we are not done. We need to now continue with max X, and then now we are focused on the new column that we created, which is immediate. Okay, and then that's it, and then we introduce calculate to now remove the filter context, and that we all selected source data, and that is it. Okay, and then we will bring the var for max immediate. Let's just call it max immediate, and then we return it. Use a return, and then we continue the argument. If max immediate, if max immediate is equal to total nearness, give me max immediate. If not, give me blank. Okay, so that's it. We've done it. Control C, and we paste it. And the next one is job role, right? Job role. So just paste the same thing there, and we call it max of job roles. Okay, and let's be careful this time. Maximum immediate. So max job role. Let's call it max job role. Job role. I mean, we could keep it very simple. So max job, let's call it max job. So max job would now replace this one, and then it will replace this one also. Okay, and then summarize the table by job role. So it's job role, and then the new column will be called job. Let's just call the new column job. So then we are calculating the max based on the job, and that's it. Done. Okay, so let's quickly apply all our maximum highlights on all of them. So immediate, we already have it. So let's quickly open immediate, max of immediate. Okay, and then max of underlining, and then job role. Okay, so there we have it. So we have our maximum values. This one is a donut chart, pie chart. So we have the last one here. Let's do that quickly. What category is it? Risk category. Did we create a maximum of it? Yes, I think we did. Okay, so yeah, I think we did. So let's quickly continue with risk category. So let's go to Power Pivot, manage measure, create new. Let's paste it there. We still have the function. Okay, we don't have. So let's copy any of them. Control C, and then category, risk category, max of risk category. Yes, so basically we can just say max risk. That's the name of the VR, max risk. And then let's just copy it carefully. Other than that, it's gonna affect the syntax. If there's any error, we will probably get lost and we need to start all over again. Okay, we've done that, and then now we're gonna look at calculate max, summarize the table, source data, count. Basically we are focusing on the column which is risk category. And then the column that we create is called risk. That's it. And then the max will be based on the risk. and that is it. Okay, so we just they're all numbers, so by default it will default to number if you just use general, so that is fine. So we just do the same thing for this. We open it and then we go to max of risk category and gives us the maximum value. Okay, so now we've been able to work on our the tables, and we're going to introduce all our visuals. So we create a new table, we call this dashboard, and then we would quickly create all our charts. So this one is a bar chart. Okay, so we insert all of them quickly, and then we'll do the formatting on the other sheet. So unfortunately the chart title don't come by default, so I have to manually do that. And if I don't do that, what it means is that I have to come and be referring, and that will sort of waste our time. So let me just do that right away. Okay, so I'll just minimize this one for now and insert another one, which is also a bar chart. Later we'll look at which one was the bar chart, which one is not. Okay, so this one equally, let me just Control C and paste this to see if the title will come. Yes, now the title comes. So let's do this one. Insert bar chart, Control C, Control V, and the title comes. That's good. Okay, so these are 1, 2, 3. Okay, let me just select them and drag them on the side. And then this one is gonna be something we'll check later on. This one is bar chart. So we have a lot of bar chart, is it? Yeah, so a bar chart here, Control C, Control V. Oh, it's just repeating elements for me. Can't imagine. I was thinking it was replicating the formatting, but it's actually repeating the elements. So let me just copy this one, Control C, and paste it here. This one is reported by, and then this one is immediate cost. Okay, and then I'll insert this one also, and this one is underlining costs. Let me just bring the title and then change it, and then this one will be risk category. This one I think is a column chart. Risk category. Oh yes, risk category. And then these other ones, this one also is a column chart. Oops, column. It's supposed to be column chart. Why am I doing bar chart? Insert, change chart type to column. Yes. So this one is job rules, right? But I need to bring the chart title before I can have access to change the title. Okay, so I think it's beginning to look clumsy. So let me just select all these and send them to the dashboard. Okay, Control C and just come here and paste here, Control V, and then I'll delete these ones. Okay, now we have about all the bar charts, all the ones with all the data points. They're gonna take a much bigger space. The column charts are going to be on the right side. Okay, somewhere here. This one, underlining costs, this one will probably come down here because there are not so many data points. These ones to be somewhere in the middle. I think that's what it is. These ones were here, and then these ones were down. Okay, down somewhere, and then the rest were in the middle here. Okay, so let's go back and check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we need about 2 more, right? 2 more or 10, 2 more. This one would be this one, no doubt about it, is a pie chart. Okay, this one is a pie chart, and I have to know what it is. I think it's a shift, right? So the shift, I just copy it, Control C, and paste it here. And then this one also is a pie chart, of course, because just 2 data points, we need to make sure it's a pie chart. And then design, go to report layout, tabular, and then we can copy this, Control C, and then, you know, change it. So this one, these two would actually be in the middle somewhere. And then the last one is gonna be, I think this one is a donor chart. Insert a donor chart. Okay, so this one is a potential severity, right? And that's it. So we copy this and take it to the dashboard. And then we can delete these ones. Okay, so we are literally done with all the visuals. The next thing we're supposed to be doing is to sort of prepare to pull all these KPIs. So this one, we'll call it total near miss. Total, we call it total NM. Okay, and then this one we call AVG score. AVG score. This one we call it days close. Days. Let's just call it days. Okay, and then we are gonna be pulling this one also. Year on year NM. We're gonna be pulling this one. Year on year RC. We're gonna pull this one. Year on year AVG. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is that we need to introduce some conditional formatting to these ones, because these are sort of the year on year thing that we introduce. And we will quickly go into insert symbols. So let's go to insert symbols, right? We go to insert symbols and bring in these directional symbols. You find them under geometric shapes. So just make sure you select that and you will find it here, or you need to scroll and find it and select. So I've recently used them, so I'm just going to insert this one and insert this also and close. So there we have it. Okay, and then I'm going to sort of copy all of them, and what I'm going to do is I'll just okay, I will not rush it. These values, it is best that we create a dedicated section for them, because we need to align them properly so that once you copy and we send them to the dashboard, they don't adjust, because it has to be on a separate sheet that doesn't change by default when you're applying a filter. So I'm going to use an equal sign to select this one. Okay, use an equal sign to select this, and then an equal sign to select this also. Obviously they all must be in percentage, so let me just convert everything to percentage. So there we have it, and then I can apply the formatting on these ones rather, and then I'll align them properly so they do not change. Okay, so I'll just highlight all of them and I'll just format. Okay, but before that, let's copy our symbols, Control C, and then we go to format, we go to custom formats. And then what we're going to do is that we're going to introduce 2 arguments. So we'll need to separate them with a semicolon like sign, right? So the first one has to do with the fact that it has to be green, and we would insert the one that goes up. Okay, so just I'll paste one also on the other side. So I'll just remove the one that goes down. Okay, and then over here I would use the one that goes down. So after this sign, then I'll introduce a percentage, 0%. Okay, and then they're separated by this, and also we will have we will type in red. Okay, and then we have a minus and 0%. So that's what it is. It's simply a custom formatting where we are saying that this red, this green should apply to this when it is, it is positive, and if it is red, then it's negative, right? And we click on OK. So there we have it. We've been able to introduce those colors, as you can see, and we need to make sure that the sheet is blank. So we just remove all the grid lines so that when we copy and paste over there, it does not sort of show the borders and everything. So we're going to copy and link as pictures. Okay, so that's what it is. So now the next we're going to be doing is to go back to our dashboard, and then this one we'll need a year, we need a timeline as well. So we need to clean up. Right now we have some cleaning up to do. So let's just quickly start cleaning up. We would sort of go to pivot table, analyze, remove the buttons, remove these legends. We don't need we don't need a legend. We don't need this X axis. We don't need that. Also, we want to make it I think 70%, right? We made it 70%. I need to confirm. So let me quickly go and check on the other dashboard and confirm, right? So let's check the percentage spacing is 20%. So we apply 20% on all of them. So let's go back and continue, right? So it's 20%. The spacing has to be 20%, and then we can apply this on all of them. Let's remove the grid. Okay, now it's clean. I think we used SHEQXEL UI, and then the font was 8. Okay, the font was 8. Remove the background and everything, but we'll do that later on. So let's just Control C and paste on reported by. Okay, let's paste on immediate underlining. Okay, so that is corrected. Let's resize this nicely. And then, all these column charts, bar charts, we're going to apply the same thing. This one as well, Control V and paste on it. We align them nicely when we are doing the wireframing, okay? And this one also, okay? All right. And this one we'll definitely have to resize, remove the legend, and then remove the bottom as well, and Control C, Control C, Control V. Oh, hold on, Control V. Oh, why is it not giving me the formatting? Control C, Control V, yes. Okay, so we have this, and where is the donut chart? I thought I brought in donut charts. Oh, there you are. Okay, so let's remove this and remove the yes. So we would work on the formatting definitely. I think let's do that right away. Let's make it SHEQXEL UI, and it is 8, font 8, and even this one is bold or something. We'll probably check, and then we do the same thing for this one also. So SHEQXEL UI 8, yes, Control C, Control V. Okay, so I think this one was probably here, this one was followed or something, and that's it. So I think we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We are getting there. Now the next thing we need to do is our wireframing, okay, and then bringing in all those colors and everything, and then let's try and bring in our KPI cards. Okay, so KPI cards, all is based on our wireframe. So let's quickly go back to our projects folder and open our wireframe. So we are going to design a wireframe, and this wireframe, it's literally, we've already done it. So, but we are going to repeat the same steps. Okay, so we just remove this, and then if you look at it, there's a background, there's there's a last layer, or the first layer, the second layer, and then the third layer. Okay, so the first layer is just a shape, so we just bring in a shape. In fact, all of them are shapes. So there's a first layer which is a shape, and then the color is violet, right? So that's the color that we know, that's our project colors. So we just copy and paste it in. That's the first one. The other one is, you know, a rounded rectangle. So we bring in our rounded rectangle. We make sure that the roundness is not too sharp. Okay, something similar to this. And then I think that's pretty much it. So we come here and then we select. Now this is a gradient fill. It's a gradient fill. When you format it, you see that it's gradients. It's a gradient. You can replicate the same thing. It's here is 100%, 100%. Here is 50%. Here is 0%, 100%. Here is 50%. And then it's a 45-degree linear gradient. Okay, so we simply use a paintbrush and paste it here, and we have the same thing. And then we have another, you know, sort of a rounded rectangle, which we're going to use for our navigation pane. So that's what we have in here, like this, somewhere here, like this. And then the roundness is in a bit sharp, similar to this. And then the next thing was the fact that there was a shadow on it. So apparently we can go to effect and go to shadow, and, you know, bring in the shadow, remove the border lines. Okay, and then we'll just give it a fill. So the color is here. We've already provided a color in our project folder, so just copy, use a paintbrush and paste over it, and that's like this. Okay, and then we have these other ones. So basically it's based on the number of visuals that we are expecting. So the same thing, we go to rounded rectangle like this. Okay, so the first one is at the top here, like so. Control C, Control V, we'll bring this one here, but we want to make sure that it can fit the space for the other visuals that we're expecting. Okay, so let's see if it will fix. Yeah, so we need to sort of, you know, create more space. Yes. All right, so this one, these are all sort of one simple, you know. Yes, and then we try to bring them down a little bit because we need to optimize the space. Okay, and then this one comes down a little bit, and then also try to create more space at the top. So what do we do? Just do it slightly, shift it slightly, so that we have more space at the top. And then we have the, you know, the other one, Control C, Control V, and that's for this one, and that'll be here. And then we have the other one, which is like a much smaller. Okay, and then it sort of extend a little bit because there are two visuals in there. And then the next thing we do is that we, you know, align vertically to sort of, you know, distribute vertically, and we try to make sure that the dimensions are all the same. And this one, the roundness is too sharp. This one also is too sharp. So that's how it is. And I think we only have to, you know, select the correct colors. They're all white, so we just use white on all of them. And then this one is not white. The one behind is actually, you know, the same color. So that is what it is with the, you know, with the wireframe. So we already have the wireframe in here. As you can see, it's literally the same. So we delete this one, and then we just Control C. Okay, and then we go to our report and come over here and paste it. When we paste it, just group it, because we will have to resize it a little bit because we have a lot of visuals which we need to work with. So I'll just, you know, open up a little bit so that we can accommodate a lot of stuff. All right. Yes, so when we go into our dashboard, immediate costs, underlining costs, they're all at the top. Okay, So immediate cause, so let's send it to the back. This one will go to the back, send to the back. Okay, and then it will just be somewhere here. So immediate cause and aligning cause. Now we need to align everything properly. Let's check the dashboard once again. Work area, instant locate, work area, job roles, risk category. Work area, job roles, risk category. So these ones will be here. Remove these ones. Okay, I think I didn't work on this, so let's do that quickly. Segue UI, MS8, and then remove the buttons, remove the, the grid, remove this one as well. You can resize later on. Control C, Control V. Okay, so this one is we'll clean up once we are done. So work area is supposed to be somewhere there. So work area is equally a column chart. So Control C and Control V, and then this one will be at the top, job roles and risk category. So this one will be here, and this one will sort of be here. And then severity score, right? Severity score, potential severity score, shift and action status. Yeah, so these ones will also be here. So let's resize it nicely here. Resize this one also nicely here. And then this one also be here. We would clean up when we are done. We are just aligning them for now. Immediate cause and aligning cause. So it's like this here, and then over here also it's like this. Okay, and then near miss, let's have a look. Near miss type and reported by. So near miss type reported by. Okay, so we are on course with the dashboard, as we can see. Now we need to remove, size them nicely. Okay, and then we would start to remove all the background of the charts, and then we would ensure that the secondary axis are the ones, the maximum is the secondary axis, and those will be at the top. Okay, so what we are going to do is we're going to quickly apply the colors. Now let's go back to our project requirements, and let's look at the question, right? So the colors you're supposed to be using, which we've already started using some, right? So the light purple is actually the rest of the visual. So these ones are light purple. So we just go to format data points, we come here, fill, and we choose purple, the lighter purple. Okay, yes, this one, and then this one is a deeper purple. So the deeper is actually the same color as this. Let's just go to more and select this. Yes, I think it is. So if it's not, I just go and pick this one, deeper one. Yeah, it is. The deep one is the same as the one there. So we just select this, and then we will change it. Okay, and then we'll paste it there, and that's this one. And we're gonna make it a secondary axis. So there we have it. It's a secondary axis. Okay. Yes. So that is with this one. And we're gonna apply on all of them. So let's quickly remove the background, the fill, and everything, and even the font color. Let me check on the other one. The font color, okay, is the same. The font color is the same. So Control C, Control V, Control V, Control V. See how fast we move. Yes, and then now it's left with these ones. So this one also, we already have the colors registered in there, so we just select, and this one, we choose this one. Okay, and then we make that's the secondary axis. It's going to be at the top, and remove the axis. And I can see that it doesn't to align properly. Like, I don't know, maybe we need to, what's going on? That's what it wants. Yes, so we reduce the size. The size is already reduced. So okay, so these ones, I think the size was probably let's say, is it 80? No, it will be a lot more. Maybe 200. Okay, 200. So let's just confirm the size that we used so that we are on track. 180. So the size is 180. Okay, and then the font is 8. 180 and the font is 8. Okay, so 182 and the font is 8. So it's the same, but let's make it 200 rather. 200. Okay, and then the font is 8. All right, and it's giving us like this. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so maybe what I should do is, let me have a look at the, the size, Control A, and then let's bring it to the center a little bit. So let me just try to increase the size of the dashboard layout and then expand this further. So this is what it looks like. It's supposed to be something like this to show everything. Let's remove the fill and then the outline. Logistics. Okay, so let me just check something here. 48 is it? Let's add to label 48. Oh, work area. Hold on. Okay, I think I did something on the other one. I didn't pay attention. The work area is probably not correct in the other one. Okay, so we have this one. If it's not working, then we have to change it to, if it's not looking nice, it's not fitting there, it's better I change it to, to bar charts, because that will probably fit properly. So I'll make it a bar chart. And this one also is supposed to fit properly. Why is it trying to look like this? Okay. Then it's better I just make all of them the same. This one is 20. This one is also 20, but let's make it 50. And then I'll Control C and Control V. And this one, okay, let's make it like this. Okay, so let me just try to resize it back to how it was, and let's let everything fit in there. And then remove the fill and the outline in between. And this one also remove the fill and the outline. The outline should be no outline, fill should be no fill. No outline, no fill. No outline, no fill. Okay, and this one we will just change the color. So basically they're not supposed to be equal. Day and night shift 45, that's what it is. Okay, that's fine. And total actions open and close 90, they're all the same. Okay, all right. When we actually make it bigger, we clear the filter, everything now probably shows, so that's fine. Control C, Control V, and then this one we would format data series. The data points, this one is let's bring the data label first. Add data label, and then format data label, and then bring the category name, bring some a percentage, and let's sort of bring it out a little bit. So the 47 is actually the 46. The night is the lighter one, so the night is the lighter one. And then this one is a darker one. So we just copy this and apply to this. And then this one also, we would add data label and format data label. We bring the category name, we want a percentage as well, and then we'll sort of space them out. And then we give it some unique colors, so I think the high, the medium, and low in that order. So the high, the low, and then the medium. So the medium is actually not too harsh, so we just choose this one color, the medium one. Okay, I didn't select it, so let me just do that from here. I'll just choose this one. Format data points, go here and then select this one, Control C, and then come back and paste here. I'll go to fill and change it. Okay, so that's this one. And we now have to try to align them. So this one is actually the fact that we had to format the slicer, so we convert it to 2 columns, and it's going to be at the top here, and then we go here and then we insert a timeline. So the timeline is inserted on the trend. We didn't do the trend, so we just copy like any of them like this, because it's supposed to have a trend of the near me. So we would open the field list, and then we would remove the potential injury, and then we would insert a calendar table, a table that is based on the trend, the month. So the month, doesn't want to allow me, so let me drag it all the way down. Okay, and then we introduce a month. No, it's gonna be okay, fine, a month. So we select this month, and it's gonna be like a row on the row, and then we would insert a timeline. So go to insert, or we would first plot our line chart. So there's gonna be a line chart. This line chart, Control C and bring it here. We paste it here. So that's gonna be up there. So remove the space and all of this stuff. Remove the grid line. Okay, so let me just do that before I remove the background. Okay, so remove the grid line. Remove even the X and Y axis. We go to remove the legend as well. We even remove the title because we don't need that. And then we go to pivot table analyze and remove this one. And then we would, resize it nicely. And then the color is going to be at the lighter one. So the outline color is going to be the lighter one. And then we will remove, the fill and then the outline. So that is this one. So we can just resize it nicely somewhere here. All right, so this one is going to be here as this, line chart. So let's have a look at what it is here. Yeah, it's the same thing, except that we sort of reduce it, the size a little bit and all. So that's it here. And the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to bring in all our cards. So let me just, sort of select everything and align them to the center properly so that we can see them well. Okay, so I'll just go here and I'm going to insert my timeline. So go to insert and insert a timeline. Okay, the timeline is based on the date and that is this one. So we Control C and we bring it here. Okay, but sometimes when you copy the timeline and you paste, it doesn't want to paste for some reason. So let me just do it again. And this time I wouldn't cut, rather copy and paste here before I come to delete this one. Okay, yeah, so this one is going to be in the middle somewhere here. And it's gonna be from January to December. So you just have to make sure, I can see January to December. Okay. So what it means is that I may have to extend the size of my, my dashboard, which I'll be doing that later on. Okay. All right. So this one is here, and then I'll bring in the KPIs that we created. So I'll go to insert text box. I'll bring it here. So these are the Control C, Control V. This is for average risk score, and this one is for average closure dates, right? Closure this or close this, and then I would resize again at the top here, and that'll be for like total near misses, right? And then this one would probably I'll increase a little bit, and that'll be for the other information. So let me just bring in the other stuff. So this equal sign, and this one is total near miss is already there. That is the name we provided to the cell. This one is AVG, right? Average score. And then this one is this, we use this, right? This, we use this. Was it this we used? Yes, this. That's it. So we'll just resize it nicely. So it's gonna be Segway UI. The font is probably gonna be 28 or 25 or something. Let's see. 28. I'm gonna make it bold, and then we would remove the background, the fill, and then the font is gonna be like the lighter one, right? Or the lighter one, and we would align it to the bottom. And then we would copy the format and paste on these ones. Okay, and that'll be it, but we change the color. So let's go back and look at the dashboard once again. Okay, so it's aligned to the right, so these ones will be aligned to the right, and then the font is going to be the darker violet or purple, and then we paste this on here. So I think we should increase it a little bit to maybe 200. Yes, so this one also is going to be like 200, right? Yes, so there we have it. So this one is here, and let's go back and check. Okay, so we have the shapes at the top. Now the shapes, these shapes, there's no time to go in and be looking for these shapes. Let me just copy these ones. I'll show you how to bring these shapes in there. This one as well, and this one, and remove this. Oh man, exclude this. Control C, because there's no time. I'll show you how to bring them in, but I don't want to waste time looking for shapes, because shapes can be very time wasting. Okay, so I'll just bring this one here. Now obviously my dashboard is looking very small, right? That's how come these ones are not fitting in. So it doesn't really matter, that's not a big deal. So this one is going to be here. We will bring this one here a little bit, and this one is going to be here, and then this one is going to be here. This one is going to go up a little bit. We will then resize them nicely. Okay, so these ones are now in there, and then this one is going to be somewhere here. Okay, and then this line chart, I think, is supposed to come down. So let's bring it down a little bit, somewhere here. And then this one is going to be the header. So this header is total near misses. Okay, so we go back and check. Dashboard is empty, total near misses. Okay, so let's remove the the fill, the outline, the fill and the outline. We change the color to the lighter purple, and then we use SHEQXEL UI and we bolding it. And then we bolding it. Okay, and then we bring the same thing. Control C, Control V, we bring it here. Control C, Control V, we bring it here also. So one is average risk score. And then we will just increase the, change the font color to the darker purple, and this one will be average closure date, right? So this one is, let's see, this one average score, average days, that's closure days, right? Average closure days, or days used to close, but I think closure days is better. And then we would simply copy this format and paste over this. Okay, so we are getting there. We just have to I think I should just resize a little bit. Yeah. Okay, and then I'll just align these ones, but the size is not the same, so we have to check that. but we align to the center. Okay, and then we can take our time to make sure that the size are okay. You can check from the formats. You can check the alignment. If you select it, you can resize it nicely here. This one also, we need to align it center, and then we will drag it and position properly. This one also align center, and then we will drag and position here. Same with this one. That's if they're not properly aligned. Okay, so that is it. We are almost there. So these basically icons, you can center them properly, excluding the background, and then we would align them center. Okay, and now we are supposed to introduce these sort of icons. They're too big for this dashboard, so let me just resize them a little bit. So this one we will resize a little bit, something like this is okay, and this one also. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to bring in, let's format this slicer. So this this timeline, we want to format to fit the background of our dashboard. So we just go to format our dashboard and look at the fill that is this one. The one in the middle is sort of the gray color. So we just copy it, and then we come here and then we go to slicer settings or the timeline. We first choose this one. I mean, this color is already preset, so we choose this style, duplicate the style, and we're using it for the dashboard. So you can just name it DD, right? And you format the whole timeline. You go to the fill and you go to the fill color, you paste in there, you click on OK. So that's the fill that shows here. We don't want any border, and then that's it. Okay, so we hit OK, and then we go in there and then we select this one. Okay, so that is what we see in there, and we will just resize it nicely. But of course, before we do that, we need to remove all the unnecessary. We don't need the header. We don't need maybe time level. We need a time level. We don't need selection label. We probably don't need even scroll bar. Okay, we don't need a scroll bar. Okay, so that is like this. We scroll down a little bit, and then we'll do the same thing for this. So this one also, we choose the purple, which is this one, and then we would go to duplicate it, and we call it maybe BD. We don't want to keep the same name because it's not gonna accept it. So we just choose any random name. We come to the fill and we change it. We go to border. We don't want any border, and that's it. We hit OK, and then we go to to select it. So that is it. That's the one at the top here. So this one can be somewhere here, and then this one. So let's take it up a little bit, and this one can go up slightly. Okay. All right. So maybe I'm supposed to extend my dashboard layout a little bit so that I can get the other date showing. The date doesn't show, so the more I keep extending, the more the date will show. What it then implies is that my layout is too small, so I should rather extend it a little bit. So let me just do that. Okay. And then this one can be here a little. and then we can resize these ones. So this one we can, align them to the right. Format shape, align right. Okay, and then we will center it properly. The text should equally be on the right side, so let me just do that quickly. Yes, and then this one can be somewhere here, and then same with this. Align the text to the right, and then we would align everything properly to the right, and then this one is going to be here. So these these symbols, it's better we align to the bottom, and then we're gonna take our time to take it down further to create room at the top, so we can then align this one properly, align to the middle, and you can shift it down a little. Okay, yes, so there we have it with this one. We can work with this also. And then we will just resize it nicely. Okay, and this one will be, we can just extend it a little bit. Okay, so there we have it. As you can see, we've been able to replicate. The chart is left with the year-on-year change that we introduced. Okay, so we'll do that shortly. And then let's try to resize these ones. Okay, let's shift it to the right side. Okay, now given that we initially planned to have a column chart, so let's just try again, because we're supposed to keep everything consistent. So let's just change this to column chart. And let's see if we can let it align properly. Okay, so column charts, and then we make this one a horizontal axis, and remove this one. Oh man, so it's still the same. So there's no, it doesn't want to align properly. So let's keep it like this. Okay, so we've literally changed the charts, to this one, and it's not bad at all. Okay, it's not bad at all. So this one is also okay. Okay, so this and this and this here, this one is here, and this one is here. Okay, and then the next thing we're gonna do is bring in all the these stuff. Okay, so what we need to do is that we need to bring in two text boxes. One will be for we just create them here. So versus previous, so we have versus and previous. So let's just do one which is versus, and the other one is for previous. So one is VS and PY. Okay, and then we will need to sort of make one bolder and the other one lighter. So it's gonna be the bolder text, okay, and the lighter text. So versus, I think that's what it is. Let's have a look. Okay, this one, I think I did something that I was not supposed to be doing. Okay, but it's the same thing. Let me just close it. Okay, all right, so this one is lighter. Of course, the same thing, but the other one has been boldened. So I just click on this one and I'll bolden it. Okay, so the same segue UI, but it's bold, and then this one is lighter. Okay, now what we are going to do is that we need to size them properly, and then the text is probably 8. They are much smaller. And then I'll go to format, I'll remove make it no fill, and no highlights, and then I'll just align them to the middle, rather align to the middle, and then I'll just group it. Okay, so this one will be for this, and I need to keep them closer, so let me ungroup for now, and then I'll shift it closer. I'll shift it closer to this, then I'll group it. Control C, Control V. I'll do the same thing for this one. And that's going to be somewhere here, and I'll just select both of them and align them properly to the middle. Then I can shift it up a little bit. Okay, I'll shift it up. So this one is going to be here, and then this one will be much closer also. Yes, something like this. Okay, and then Control C, Control V. This one will be for the other one here, and we can't see because the font is purple, so we change it to the lighter one. All right, and then we simply go here, copy this. This one is for near miss. So we simply copy, come here, paste, as linked picture, linked picture, and then we sort of bring it up. So this one is for near miss, and I think it was up here somewhere. Okay, and then this one also, Control C, or copy and paste as link picture. And this one will be for, what exactly was it? This one is for race score, so that's for race score. That is correct. We put it somewhere here, and then this one also, Control C, copy and paste as link picture, and bring it here. Okay, and then we would Control All and then group. Now the next thing you're supposed to do is that we need to take our time to sort of sort in from smallest to the largest. All right, so what I'm going to do is that I just have to make sure that I report connection. So I'm going to select all the pivot tables, and I hit OK. I'm going to also report connection with all the pivot tables. Okay, so obviously I need to bring all the data labels. Add data label. Add the data label. Add data label. All right, so I think we are almost done. I'll just insert a new title, which is near miss analysis dashboard. Okay, so this is the first, title that we're gonna put in there, and we're gonna repeat it and bring it down. And this a comparative analysis of workplace near misses. Okay, and this I'm gonna make it as maybe font number 8 or something, or probably 12. I'm gonna position right at the bottom. Yes, so all can align to the left. There we have it. So we have been able to replicate this chart. Control A, and I'm gonna group all of this. So the only thing we could be doing is probably make it bigger to fit properly. If they are looking smaller, we do that, Yes. Now, what I'm supposed to do next, ideally, is to, be able to filter in ascending and descending order. I mean, just and then this one is 4%, 18% reduction, and this one there's no previous year, and this one is just telling us compared to previous year there's been a 282% growth. Yeah, so current year total is previous year is 100 cumulative. Okay. All right. This one we can position somewhere here. Okay, that's it. But then I don't know why it's not allowing me to, sort in ascending order. So let me just clear this filter for now. Let me clear this filter for now. Okay, which is going to be like a visual like this. And let me just see once again. And then sort from All right, so ladies and gentlemen, if you made it to this point, then congratulations, you've been following, and we had a little bit of challenge, but we were able to overcome. Basically, it was just because there was some hitch with the pivot table which we needed to correct. But then again, also we noticed that this one, in as much as we wanted it to make it a a column chart. It wasn't, the labels were not aligning properly, and for that reason we could easily switch it to bar chart. It doesn't really matter. The most important thing is that you're able to visualize what is important as per the questions that we are trying to answer. All right, so that's pretty much it. So I'm going to see you guys in another video. I believe that you found this video very insightful. So see you guys in another video. Bye for now. Cheers.